He arrived in Burkina Faso with a French passport and a disarming smile. His mission, as he claimed, was to spotlight Africa's evolving narrative. He mingled with soldiers, captured vibrant scenes in local markets, and publicly praised President Traoré. But he failed to realize that he was also being observed, and when the president unveiled his true purpose, the world held its breath. His name, Matt Lair. Matt touched down in Ouagadougou, carrying a French journalist ID and 2 suitcases, one packed with professional filming equipment, the other with elegant suits and designer cologne. He told airport authorities that he represented La Presse International, a Paris-based outlet renowned for its documentaries. "I'm here to cover youth, cultural trends, and Africa's emerging leadership," he said. Fluent in French and effortlessly charming, he even spoke of Traoré with admiration. "He's young, he's fearless, the world wants to know him." The local media embraced him. He appeared in interviews, sharing his fondness for Burkina Faso. With his film crew in tow, he strolled through bustling markets, exchanging banter with vendors. At a youth centre, he called Traoré a beacon of hope, but beneath his friendliness lurked probing inquiries. To a soldier, he asked how often patrols rotate at the Eastern Garrison. To a logistics driver, he murmured, "Do Russian advisors really stay inside the secondary facility?" And when alone, he secretly filmed roads around military supply routes, zooming in on license plates. Initially dismissed as inquisitive, Matt had already been flagged by regional intelligence. A report from Niger warned that the same individual had been seen in Niger, inquiring about Sahel operations and foreign troop deployments. Niger had let him walk. Traoré chose differently. "Let him record," he instructed. "Let him talk. But this time, we record him too." So while Matt beamed at his own camera, another lens, mounted high and unseen, began tracking his every step. His messages, movements, and meetings, all were documented for future broadcast. Over 5 days, Matt navigated the capital with ease. He engaged artists, student leaders, even retired officials. His team documented everything using drones, body cams, and a mic clipped discreetly to his shirt. To locals, he said, "France is eager to understand the new Burkina Faso. I want to tell your side of the story." He bought tea for youth circles, donated school supplies, and proudly posed with the Burkina Faso flag. What he didn't know was that his footage was under review, not by his editors, but by Traoré's cybersecurity task force. The president had greenlit a quiet investigation. Technicians cloned Matt's devices while he was on assignment. They uncovered hidden directories, Intel, Sahel, Trio, 16, contact lists, troop movement logs, and drafts addressed to a French military analyst in Marseille. This wasn't journalism, it was covert surveillance. Still, Matt played the part. He toured Parliament, attended a public function in Zenere, and arranged a private visit to a small military training site, which he described as a showcase of Africa's modern defence approach. "My film will reveal your strength," he declared. But he wasn't scouting strength. He was seeking vulnerabilities. Traoré saw through it. "Bring him to me," the president ordered. "Give him the interview he's been chasing." 2 days later, Matt received an official invitation, embossed and signed by the presidential media office. Delighted, he texted a contact in Côte d'Ivoire. "Direct access granted. Cameras approved. I'll start gently, then steer toward defense matters disguised as policy debate." But every message, every email, every tagged image and GPS ping had already been intercepted by the president's intel team. The interview was scheduled for 10 a.m. in the presidential strategic wing, a space typically closed to the press. Everything looked standard. Cameras set, water poured, soft music playing. Matt shook Traoré's hand. "Mr. President, thank you for having me." Traoré returned the gesture with calm sincerity. "It's a pleasure to meet someone so interested in Africa's story." Matt took his seat, adjusted his mic, opened his notepad. "Let's begin." But before he could ask his first question, Traoré leaned in. "May I ask something first?" Matt nodded. The president slid a tablet across the table. On it, a paused drone video. "Why were you on your hotel rooftop at 2:12 a.m. holding this device?" When Traoré hit play, Matt watched in horror as the footage showed him pointing a directional antenna toward a military convoy miles away. He paled. His throat clenched. The performance was over. Hands trembling, he stared at the screen, lips parted but speechless. The room remained still. Traoré didn't raise his voice. "Was this part of your documentary?" Matt broke eye contact. "It's not what it looks like." "I agree," said Traoré. "It's exactly what it is." Behind them, the screen changed again. This time it showed hotel lobby footage. Matt handing a USB drive to a man in a baseball cap. That man was later caught crossing the Ghanaian border, identified as a French intelligence courier. Next came the emails. Encrypted messages recovered from Matt's second phone, all sent to a secure server in Marseille. Subjects read, "BF sweep weak flank, E Died. Encampment proximity confirmed. Paris release prep underway." The final email was decisive. "Target appears in control, but on ground, Sahel remains exploitable. Maintain soft approach. Indicate we're listening." Traoré paused. "Is that what you call it now? Spying is listening?" Matt's face flushed. "I never meant harm." Traoré leaned in. "You didn't carry a weapon. But your questions were bullets. Each answer you extracted left another hole in our wall." The interview, now a live interrogation, was streaming nationwide, in classrooms, markets, even military barracks. What people saw was not a president unraveling, but a composed leader revealing layers of deception until nothing was left to hide. Back in Paris, phones rang. In Abidjan, officials watched silently. They anticipated fallout, but not that Traoré would expose it to the world. Matt stared at himself on screen, antenna in hand, caught mid-act. The president pressed once more. A series of text messages appeared. Troop movements, encrypted files, reports to French defence. It all traced back to Abidjan, where Matt had posed as a filmmaker, but he was there for a different mission, receiving briefings from a covert intelligence cell. "He claimed he came to understand Africa," Traoré said, "but from his hotel room he sent our secrets to those who've never even walked our streets." A dossier landed on the table. Photos, guest passes, travel logs showing secretive routes through Ouagadougou and Dar. The president looked him in the eye. "You asked us to trust you, but all this time you mapped our defences for people who wish to dominate, not defend." Matt whispered, "I was just doing my job." Traoré replied firmly, "So am I." Looking straight into the live camera, he delivered his final words. "Let this be heard by every nation watching. Africa is not your playground, and Burkina Faso is not your case study." Crowds had gathered outside. Chants rang out, "Burkina is watching. We are not your experiment." And inside, Matt sat in silence. The man who sought to question a president had been stripped bare by the truth. When the footage aired that evening, France called immediately. An official request followed, asking for the release of journalist Matthew L. Clark. But Traoré declined to comment. Later a call came from Abidjan, President Alassane Ouattara, calm but grave. Perhaps the young man made a mistake. Can we resolve this discreetly? It wasn't a mistake, Traoré replied. It was coordinated. Let us bring him back to France. We don't want tension. You wanted silence when he spied, Traoré concluded. Now you will have silence while we deliver justice. That night, the full video aired. The drone clips, the messages, the confession. Across Africa, a wave of response surged. In Mali, youth held signs. Africa is awake. In Ghana, they came with microphones. Traoré answered with truth. In a quiet cell, Matt watched the broadcast. No one yelled. No one touched him. He was simply seen. And for the first time, the shadows he hid behind were gone. Because this time, Africa exposed the spy before the spy could expose Africa.